Hey, are you excited about watching the same movie that you have already seen before? Well, I got something for you. Goo goo gaga! Coming this fall, Michael Myers is back for the 1000th time. Halloween Origins, the retelling, rebooted story of Michael Myers. Who wants their milkies? You remember Wall-E? Of course you do. You saw that movie when the world wasn't as scary and complicated. How about you chase that dragon and try to feel those same feelings that you will never feel again? Did somebody poop their diaper? How about we remake this classic Disney story and make a good movie out of it? No! Completely butcher it! Take the soul and original messaging completely out of the movie. You won't care. You have a small brain and you like things that are recognizable. How about you sit on this Fisher-Price movie seat while you watch it? Who's excited for this story that didn't need to get made? Hello, I'm Woke Karen. I have 3 interests that I pursue in my free time: music, food, and movies. I love movies. But whenever I talk about movies on this channel, people don't really seem to watch those videos. So at the risk of nobody watching this, I'm gonna talk about the current state of movies so we can all agree that things suck right now. Who is to blame? If you ask me, I'll say that it's the system of profit maxing, studio executive money mogging. Everything has been polished and standardized. If a studio isn't making a sequel, they for sure are likely not making something fresh and innovative. And no, it's not because everything has already been done. The human mind is an infinite trove of creativity and expression, a mirror of time's struggles and identities that are forever changing. But that medium is slowly becoming more narrow because creativity isn't as profitable as it used to be. And the common denominator in all of this is a small group of people trying to get a bang for a buck. But movie studios used to be a lot more inclined to invest in stuff that has never been done before. They wanted to raise the bar pretty much as often as they wanted to play it safe. Now the biggest productions are all filmed with green screens and there's lasers everywhere. Going big and new and unprecedented can be risky because you don't know if people will respond better to going big as opposed to going familiar. Familiarity is sometimes more profitable and it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Because of this, you don't get the same amount of yearly bangers that you got in other ages of cinema. But to be fair, movies are being popped out like crazy nowadays. Most of them are poopy, but there are still amazing movies being made today, like incredibly, shockingly good movies. When I say that movies are bad, I'm more talking about trends that set soulless standards becoming the law of the land, but there will always be rule breakers and gravity defiers. There's also a lot of pretty good movies being made today. I'm talking 3 stars movies. Nothing amazing, nothing horrible, but rarely a 3-star movie with swagger. And it probably has Timothée Chalamet in it. That little bugger's in everything, isn't he? Older 3-star movies, the swagger was through the roof. And no Timothée Chalamet. In fact, I would say that there is a deeper concentration of swagger in these older movies. There is something in the air that produces the golden goose, movie magic, 3-star heart movies. Movies that make you go, God damn, that was rad as hell. Fist pump. And not, oh great heavens, that was a beautiful piece of art. In other words, my favorite kinds of movies. Kevin Bacon fighting a sandworm and saying, fuck you! That type of beat. But the ratios are now so out of whack. Oceans of lazy and boring movies. Those have always existed in all periods of time that had movies, but now it's like an oppressive and inescapable force. You don't get that weird movie that becomes beloved and turned into a genre-defining classic by accident and circumstance as often anymore. Because technology isn't the only thing that advanced in the future, so did predicting profit. And it's funny because with more innovation would come more avenues for profit, or whatever those greedy capitalists like to say. But no trying new things. Instead, the big productions cater to focus groups and general audiences, setting up franchises to generate money instead of telling encapsulated and contained stories. Video games have this exact same problem, what with your Call of Duties and Assassin's Creeds. That's why so many movies are complete and utter butt today. As always, late stage capitalism is what to blame, giving the illusion of choice when in reality you have no real variety in product that just keeps on getting shittier and more expensive. But anyways, that's the answer I personally would give. Remember, I asked why are movies so bad today? But the poop touchers will blame bad movies on wokeness or DEI or some dumb shit like that. But this does have me thinking. They hark about the days before wokeness, back when movies were really good, I do not think that wokeness is the squeaky wheel, but I am interested in the concept of back when movies were good. And whenever people talk about wokeness, they talk about, the best generation of cinema, the 90s, the 2000s. That is subjective, but just for science, I will try to pinpoint the best year for movies using data. Thank you to Daniel Paris for doing the work and crunching the numbers here. Now, there are 3 avenues that you need to consider here: online reviews, critic reviews, and box office numbers. Let's talk about decades. Data shows that film critics rated movies from the 1960s and 70s the highest. This makes sense. There was quite a high concentration of household names emerging from these scenes and making genre-defining movies in the process. There are other factors such as regulation and somewhat of a film renaissance that play into this. We got some amazing foreign movies coming out during this time as well. Online reviewers, like people on Letterboxd and IMDb, enjoyed movies from the 2010s. Likely because of factors like blockbuster fatigue and the downfall of CGI. Streaming turned the whole industry on its head. So we start to see creativity solve some of these problems, like the meteoric rise of A24. But the box office doesn't lie, and the data says that the 2000s ranked in the largest concentration of highest grossing movies. Streaming impacted people putting their butts in theater seats, so it makes sense that the 2000s were on top of the game here, but something to note is that while never on top throughout a single decade, the 1990s had some heavy hitters. So what was the best year in movies? 1994? 1979? 1999? It was 2001. It was 2001 for sure. Spirited Away, Lord of the Rings, Mulholland Drive, Shrek? Come on now, Shrek? Plus a lot of movie head and film bro movies such as Donnie Darko, The Piano Teacher, Wet Hot American Summer, The Devil's Backbone, Waking Life, Amelie, so much more really. But something that you will never hear these anti-woke weirdos admit is that 2019 was a heavy-hitting year for movies. And this was after the CGI slopification of Hollywood took place. This was after in-theater comedies completely died. They were making movies that would get called woke today. I mean, a non-American movie won Best Picture. They would be freaking out if that happened in the Big 25. I mean, they're currently shitting their pants over Bad Bunny playing the Super Bowl. 2019 was not a bad year. Certainly not a whole lot of 3-star heart movies came out in this year, but still pretty good. And I bet that we will soon get another really good year for movies, but I am worried for the general state of movies, mainly because of where we seem to be heading and what the world is investing in. I am afraid of how popular generative art is, not just in movies, but everything, because it makes me think that the AI bubble may take longer than we all want it to pop, and people will actually enjoy the watchable trash it farts out once it becomes more sophisticated. But I am equally as hopeful for the future of original art, because I think that humans and the will to make creative, weird things will one day overcome the systems we erect to slowly sabotage ourselves. Take the human hope pill. Seriously, if you don't, you'll go crazy. You gotta take the W's where you can get them. Now, you're looking at this title. You're thinking, what the hell do you mean by a 3-star heart movies? Let's talk about it. A lot of people think that I'm an asshole because I rate a lot of movies 3 stars and people think that these are beloved movies. I usually reserve my 5-star ratings for movies that are actually masterpieces or movies that I ironically enjoy. I am a deeply ironic person because I'm whimsical and free-spirited. But there are some movies that I find perfect. They are works of art and they are all usually movies that I am rarely in the mood to watch, to be completely honest with you. In the Mood for Love is one of the best movies I've ever seen, but I ain't watching that shit unless I'm ready to get fucked up. Like, I need to plan my week around watching that movie. But for the most part, I try to not let nostalgia get in the way of my movie rating, and I try to be more objective. A movie doesn't need to be phenomenal, emotionally deep, or grandiose to be enjoyable. It doesn't have to be a filmmaker's and or a cinematographer's wet dream to be rad as hell. It doesn't have to be perfect and 5 stars to be iconic, and it's okay to have different opinions than me. You may think that cultural relevance, impact, and general appeal contribute towards the score of a movie. That's valid, but I don't share that opinion. It's more like this. I think that Hard Boiled is one of the greatest action movies of all time, but I still equally enjoyed Face Off, even though it is objectively a less good movie. It's always been difficult to make an amazing 5-star work of art movie, but people used to make entertaining and interesting 3 stars movies left and right. And to be completely honest with you, a lot of these greats, a lot of these movies that are from the golden age, they're all rad as hell, but they're still 3 stars and a heart, Mr. Squidward, and a heart. The magical rating. Sometimes I enjoy a 3 stars heart movie more than I enjoy a 5 stars movie. Who likes to think about things, am I right? That they don't make them like this anymore kind of movie where people wanted to take risks and were actually allowed to. Those kinds of movies are becoming so rare. The biggest factor in this is both passion and originality. This industry pounds passion into dust. People get very few shots to make something that they are proud of and all the opportunities in the world to make slop. And if slop is what keeps the lights on, slop is what you're going to specialize in, because that's what makes money. But there's still hope. 16 out of the 20 highest grossing Pixar movies were either sequels or made before 2010, an age when original stories were still a lot more common and greenlit. And yes, their top 5 highest grossing movies of all time, all raking in over $1 billion, are all sequels, 2 of which are the 3rd and 4th movies in their franchise. But hey, Brave, Inside Out, Coco, and Elemental are all in the top 20. There's something there. This is a sign that at least some people want originality. And to make original movies, you need to be passionate in a soul-crushing industry. You have to go through so much trouble and work to even get a single shot like that. So of course, for those lucky enough to get that shot, it's more likely than not going to be a personal and special project. And it hurts. It hurts so much to see those special movies flopping financially. And it also hurts the young professionals with special dreams because there's a passion trap at play. They make barely enough money to survive because the industry conditions them to consider themselves lucky even for being in the position to make shitty art, and that the shitty pay is worth it if this is truly something that they want to do. So of course, these starving artists are going to sell out. It's a pipeline. If you have no love for the game, it's gonna show. If you are derivative and follow trends to make money, it's going to show. Think about all the people who made the new Smurfs movie. I guarantee you that every artistic mind on that team has a passion project that they care about 1 billion times more than the fucking Smurf movie, doing this so their name is attached to a big picture. I'm sure that you've heard of the one for them and one for me principle of big name directors, balancing big budget projects that they don't care about with more personal and passionate movies. Well, that's only for big name directors. If you are a pipsqueak, you go art house or you go slop. And there's more shots to have in the world of slop. The classic trick of I'll be the change I want to see, and then never being able to make that change. If you don't have a single person who is passionate about working on the film, it's pretty much guaranteed to suck. Like, even if it's a corporate project with all sorts of limitations. The most memorable part of that new Mario movie was Jack Black. He crushed that role. Seth Rogen didn't even change his voice, dude. And it's funny that I mentioned Mario, because part of the reason why creative liberties are stripped when working with adapted material is because the audience will get pissed off if you go too far off the script. The live-action Mario movie. You dumb motherfuckers, you stupid selfish weirdos. I can't believe that I let the internet bully me into thinking that this was a bad movie that I shouldn't watch. This is one of the funniest and most unhinged movies that I have ever seen in my life. You want to know what the problem is? You want to know why everybody hates this movie? It's because it's a good movie called Super Mario Brothers when it's not actually about Super Mario Brothers. It is not a Mario Brothers movie. This would have been a smash hit if it was simply inspired by the Mario games. It's a double-edged sword because this movie was considered a failure, but the passion and charm makes it so good. Like, seriously, watch this movie. They predicted 9/11. I'm not joking. It's there. They predicted it. It's so hard to do that with a video game movie. Go ahead and try to inject the X Factor into a movie like Uncharted with Tom Holland and Marky Mark. Spoiler alert. They very well could have. There was a surefire way to do that. A fucking home run play that Sony did not make. Remember when they announced that the Uncharted movie was in the works? The Uncharted fandom pretty much unanimously wanted Nathan Fillion to get cast as Nathan Drake. Not only in the fandom, Nathan Fillion wanted to get cast as Nathan Drake as well. So bad that he and a friend put together a 15-minute fan film of him being Nathan Drake, like a teaser of what a Nathan Fillion Uncharted film would look like, and it was really good. Like 1,000 times better than this. Everyone wanted to do this. Everyone in this short was so stoked to be there. Yeah, it was giving low-budget TV production, but you simply cannot deny that this thing has heart. The people who made this obviously cared about it. If they would have built the movie around Nathan Fillion, it could have had the X factor. Probably wouldn't have been amazing 5-star movie. It still would have been a Sony movie making a live action video game adaptation, already against the odds, But it would have at least had an ounce of passion. Maybe it would have been watchable. You could not pay me to watch the Uncharted movie for 15 minutes. I watched the 15-minute Nathan Fillion fanfic for funsies today. Love Nathan Fillion. Loved him in Superman. Guy Gardner is his second most perfect casting. Anyways, the final bit of this, I had a whole spiel about originality and emerging directors that make really interesting movies, but instead I decided to condense it. Let's sketch comedians cook up something other than comedies. Dude, there's a trend here. Jump in on it. Fuck it. Not even sketch. Let comedians cook non-comedy projects. Specifically the creative ones. Give them all the resources in the world to cook up something dope. I want Tim Robinson to cook up a horror movie. Look me in the eyes and tell me that he wouldn't conjure up the most feral and nightmarish horror movie imaginable. Not just horror movies, whatever you can think of. Give Eric Wareheim the keys to make a rom-com. Give Maria Bamford the keys to make an action movie. I don't give a shit. Let these creative people be creative, for God's sake. Every single alternative comedian, let them go crazy. You know it's a good idea. Anyways, I know that we can overcome the slop and make some banger 3 stars heart movies again. And the key here, like always, A, building community and doing it yourself. Independent cinema is where it is at, baby. And B, tenacity to create something new and to always stand on your principles. It may sound obnoxious, but it's what I truly believe in. Thanks for letting me out. Hey, I got patrons. Linkies in my bio, goodies, and end of video shout outs. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful day. Show me my patrons.